Well, the ineptitude of the Yankees offense continues in Minute Maid Park as the Yankees lose to the Houston Astros 3-2 in Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. Here with Derek. We were texting throughout the game, just commenting on the fact that, just no movement offensively and very typical of the Yankees against this Astros team.
Yeah, kind of same old. And the Yankees, we've seen it for years now, really. We could even go back as far as 2015. Like, the Yankees they don't really touch Astro pitching, especially at Houston. Not to say that the Yankees are going to fare a whole lot better at Yankee Stadium, but we've seen this time and time again that 4 hits tonight, 2 unearned runs. I mean, they're basically gifted a couple of runs in this one. But yeah, like, that's always kind of the story, is the Yankee offense really cannot pull through at all against a good Astro. Look, this is a very good Astro pitching staff. Don't get me wrong, but it's just very frustrating that time and time again, it's the same script. We've seen this a million times, and it's frustrating. It's not as if the Yankees are getting. And even within all of this, these games are close, but to me, there's a simple matter of the Astros know how to win and the Yankees don't. You know, like the Bregmans and just the Astro core, they just know how to win. Certainly, they know how to beat the Yankees. So, and I've brought this up a lot. I'm going to continue to bring it up with a little bit of a grain of salt, just because this is not meant as disrespect for the Astros, but that home field advantage. If you had any chance of winning the series, the Yankees slipped in terms of, like, maybe somehow you sneak on by having home field at Yankee Stadium, where maybe, you're able to at least get it back to the stadium for 6 and 7, whether up 3-2 or maybe even down 3-2 to pull it off. Look, it's a slippery slope here. And like I said, we kind of talked about the formula after Game 5, I believe, and I kind of said, maybe you split the first 2 and win 2 out of 3 at home. Now, you have to find a way to go 2017 and just win all 3 at home, which is just a very difficult thing to do. Even if you're playing well, like against this Astro team, it's not going to be easy. So now I almost feel like, I'm hoping for that, but I'm almost thinking it's a matter of, do we get back to Houston? In other words, do the Yankees lose this in 4 or 5, or are they able to win 2 out of 3 and get this back to Houston? I think that they're certainly capable of doing that when you consider, you do have Cole and Cortez in 3 and 4. You'd like to think that would help. The Yankees are a better home team. So I do think that, as bad as things are, we can get it back to Houston for 6. With that being said, though, this is not a surprise. I don't see the Yankees winning the series. The Astros are better than the Yankees, and that's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. They're the better team. It's just incredibly frustrating that it just seems like this is the 3rd time we're facing them in the ALCS, right? And it's just the same stuff. And I don't know. It's mind-boggling. I think we were 1 and 4 with runners in scoring position. One of them being the Glaber hit, which was one of the unearned runs. But yeah, that's the only way that this Yankee team it seems like is going to generate any type of runs against this Astros team, is that we need some, fluke thing to happen in order to get any kind of run or any kind of momentum. I don't know, just extremely deflating, but I think we should just get right into it with Luis Severino took the mound for us tonight, and kind of a typical Luis Severino outing overall. Really just one bad pitch that was costly for us.
Yeah, Severino, like, the stuff was there, and, he looked pretty good. But when I think about this outing, and again, it's on the offense. Like, let's be 100% clear about that. But as good as Severino's outing was, like, that one Bregman mistake was a very, very costly mistake. I'm not here bashing Severino at all. Like, it's, with that said, though, it's hard. Like, that was, you can't have that. For me, what kills me even more is, Martin Maldonado, reaching base, I think 3 times. which is just right. They didn't get him out once, and on an 0-2 count, he hits Maldonado to start that inning. That's just that there's going to be trouble when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also he's ahead of Bregman 1-2 on the count. So yeah. And so Severino 5 1/3, 3 runs, kind of a similar. The order of it was different, but kind of the stat line was almost similar to the Cleveland outing. Good, but not good enough. One really, really costly mistake. A 3-run home run. That's kind of like what you're in this day and age of baseball. The 3-run home run, like that's your path to winning. As much as we say, and it's true, the Astros strike out less than the Yankees, which they do, and it happened again tonight.
Yep.
The home run ball is still very important. It's that blend. And the Astros, again, they did out-homer the Yankees. The Yankees known for all these home runs. Well, they've been out-homered. And if you're going to be out-homered by the Astros, you got no shot. So, and that's kind of what we saw tonight. So, Severino looked good, but one mistake kind of burns them, and it burns the Yanks. In terms of, getting into the play-by-play of the game,
yeah,
I did like the Yankee lineup tonight. While it didn't really change results-wise, and I did have some critiques for the lineup, but overall, I thought it was an improvement. Mm-hmm. Harrison Bader batting leadoff, let's stick with that.
Yeah.
We don't really have many leadoff options. He is definitely your best one right now by a wide margin. I think Bader has been one of the bright spots, and something to look forward to when you look to 2023 as far as Bader. Look, right now he's penciled in that starting center field spot. I understand that it's just a very small sample size, but what he's done has been impressive, and so I'm happy that he's there, and I think that led to some potential Judge opportunities that just kind of fell short. We'll talk about that. They interestingly, they switched Stanton and Rizzo, which I don't have a huge opinion on. I thought that was interesting, but Stanton goes to 3, Rizzo to 4. Gleyber in the 5 spot makes more sense than Donaldson. So Gleyber more in the RBI spot. I like that. Certainly better than him leading off. Donaldson stays in the lineup at 6th. I guess comparatively to others, Donaldson was okay. Still some ugliness within that. Yeah. And then, we had assumed Higgy would be in for Severino. He was. I did have a little bit of a problem with him batting 7th. Oswald Peraza, which the best thing of all was that Peraza was in there. Thought he looked really, in terms of defensively, looked miles better than Connor Falefa. For that alone, he should be in the lineup, as I think there's some pop in that bat too. I thought, I would have liked Peraza to be ahead of Higgy. Maybe that's just a small critique. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And then Oswaldo Cabrera was back in left. I had considered maybe going Tim Locastro, as crazy as that sounds, because of the fact that his career numbers versus Framber Valdez was 1 for 2 with a homer. But I understand Locastro as a pinch runner is probably more valuable than him getting early at bats. It probably is more of a weapon off the bench. So as Waldo, is in there and left, that's that. But yeah, Framber Valdez, kind of like last night, Casey. I felt like it took some time to settle in, like Verlander. Like it looked like, okay, like he was being hittable. There weren't that many strikeouts. There was some unfortunate luck where in the first inning, Judge smashes one to center. Yeah. Even Bader's ground ball to start out. And the Yankees, they were getting ahead in the count, and yet Valdez would battle back in the count. There were some times, not so much Valdez, I'm thinking more later in the game where the umps, I'm kind of talking about a million things at once here, but the umps were really bad. Sevy got some calls early, but then the Astros got some calls as well. Just things that are completely egregious. And, like we've been saying for a while, like I look forward to the day that hopefully they do move to robot umps. I know that that's not a perfect situation, but I find so many times when it's 3-0, if it's anywhere even remotely close, they're going to get that strike call. Like there's a human element to that. Robots, like obviously you don't have that. So that, is frustrating how much of an impact that they have.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, same thing in game 1. I felt like the strike zone was very strange from the home plate umpire. And I agree with the same thing that Valdez, like Verlander, kind of, the nerves, I feel like were there. You know what I mean? And yes, the Yankees were getting some good hits off of them, and including in the second inning where, we finally looked like we had something going here. And to give Donaldson, who we've kind of been bashing a lot, give him a little bit of credit. He got a double to right field and, put some pressure on Valdez. But of course, Yankees couldn't turn it around.
Yeah, exactly. Give Donaldson credit there. I mean, you wish it could have been last night, but he does hit a double, and that's, Donaldson and a lot of these guys, you got to think opposite field. And that's exactly what he does. He doubles with 2 out, and then Higgy strikes out. The catcher, catchers, especially, in this day and age in baseball, or just where we're at right now with what the landscape of the league, there aren't that many good offensive catchers. And I felt like Trevino and Higgy down the stretch was a pretty good offensive tandem, all's considered. And unfortunately, that's really dropped off on both ends. We'll see Trevi back in there. Higgy, he's basically Severino's guy at this point, and we'll see Trevi. I hope that, Trevino can kind of find that offensive flair, because it was helpful. Higgy does strike out in that big spot, like you said. And then, bottom of the second, Sevy gets into some trouble, but is able to get out of it. And then in the third we go. Valdez starting to settle in, and like I mentioned before, Maldonado hit by pitch on an 0-2 count is just really bad. Jeremy Pena, who, is seeming like a pretty damn nice replacement for Carlos Correa. For real. Which is frustrating. Gets a single. Then Yordan Alvarez. It would have been tough it sucks in hindsight that they couldn't turn the double play. Rizzo makes a really nice play to Peraza, goes back to first, and Alvarez beats the wrap. And so it's first and third, 2 out. Severino ahead in the count of Bregman. And Alex Bregman hits a 3-run homer. And as soon as I saw this, I texted Casey. I said, that's game over. And that's all they needed. They only needed those 3 runs. And that was the big moment in the game. Alex Bregman with the big blow.
Yeah, it was devastating. We're down 3-0 like that, and going off of the history of this team against the Astros at Astros Stadium, it just looked very bleak. But then, of course, we're talking about things getting bleak, and then the next inning we get this miracle kind of turn of events for the Yankees, where we were able to get runners at second and third with no outs, primed to just actually blow the door open, do something. Let's just go over that right now.
Yeah, and you know what? That actually worked out as good as it possibly could have, when you consider, the fact that Yankees have struck out so much. They were given a gift, and they did do the most that they could with that. As Framber Valdez just kind of has a brain fart. It was a couple of things. Aaron Judge leads off with a single. And then Giancarlo Stanton, this really should have been a double play. I mean, with the way Giancarlo runs, if this is done properly, it's 2 outs. Instead, it goes from 2 outs to second and third, no out, as Valdez bobbles the ball. So then going to second is out, and then he just quickly throws to first, throws it by Gurriel, and a second and third now out. And, look, considering expectations were low, give Rizzo and Glaber some credit in that they did what they had to. Rizzo, who was down in the count, does hit a ground ball to first, gets Judge in, moves Stanton over to third. Then Glaber, who's also down in the count with the infield back, he hits a ground ball to shortstop that actually ends up being an infield single. Even if they threw him out, it gets the run in. So at least there was actually second and third outs without getting a hit, productive outs. So in what was a bad game, a moment of good stuff. But then, of course, back to reality, Donaldson, who, you wish the double that he had the time before he could do it here, right. He strikes out and looks bad doing so. And then Higgy strikes out as well. So any chances of tying the game stop right there. Sevy at this point, and it sucks when this happens. He kind of does after he gives it through. After the damage is done, I think of Garrett Cole when I think of that, where he gives it that big home run, during the regular season, and then all of a sudden he's throwing zeros out there. Sevy does, settle in, which is good because the Yankees had just made it 3-2. In the fifth, you do get a 2-out single by Bader. Nice piece hitting to go the opposite way. Then Judge just gets under one, and it stays 3-2. In the fifth, Sevy, locks in. Good job by Sevy against Yordan Alvarez. He struck him out a couple of times. I mean, Yordan, one of the best hitters in the game, and Sevy looking strong there. And he was pretty fired up after that strikeout. And so through 5, Yanks are still down 3-2. But it didn't get any easier against Framber Valdez in the 6th. kind of heart of the order post Judge, and Stanton grounds out, Rizzo strikes out, and Torres grounds out. And so we go to the bottom of the sixth, and with one out, it's a single by Tucker. Boone pulls the plug on Sevy, which ends up being okay. It looked like it maybe could have gotten shaky, but Loaisiga comes on. And in classic Loaisiga fashion, not his fault, but kind of a perfectly placed single by Gurriel, but then it's rectified by a 5-4-3 double play of Aledmys Diaz, and that's kind of the Loaisiga special. That heavy sinker gets the ground ball, gets the double play, and it remains 3-2. Yankee pitching keeping them in the ball game, but then Valdez ends on a real high note. Donaldson strikeout, Higashioka strikeout, Peraza strikeout, just an ugly seventh inning right there.
Absolutely awful. And just to make note, Higashioka striking out all these times in these crucial situations, just a really bad showing from him. Valdez just continued to dominate. And it was just, it was just incredibly frustrating watching these batters go up there and just look like complete fools each time they were up there. I mean, swinging at stuff that was just, it was just very aggravating to watch. I'm fumbling on my words because I'm so aggravated, but it was really difficult to watch. And at times we were chatting in our little group chat about just just rolling our eyes essentially at what was going on in front of our eyes. And like you said, we capitalized on that double error from Valdez, and the fact that was the only way that we were able to generate runs this whole game. I mean, just utterly pathetic. There's really no other way to put it. I mean, it's really just utterly pathetic. I mean, and I don't know. Yeah. Give me your thoughts on everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, in terms of putting a bow on the Valdez outing. Yeah. I thought that, and I think Framber Valdez he's probably one of the more underrated pitchers in baseball.
I think he is.
Really?
Yeah. I always thought he was pretty great. Yeah.
Pretty great. But you still, 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. He completely shut them down.
Utter domination. Yeah.
That's just that's unacceptable and pathetic. Step up. You gotta rise to the occasion at some point. Even though it's become you expect it, you expect them to fail, but just surprise us.
Right.
Give me something. And so Valdez is out of the game, which, I guess was certainly a good thing. Not that the bullpen is any easier to go up against. Right. In the bottom of the 7th, Maldonado walks with 1 out. I don't even know what to say about that. I get crazy. And then, Altuve, really nice play by Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres at second base is just so much better than he is at shortstop.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a different player. Really makes a nice play. Flips it to Peraza, and Anthony Rizzo, who I'm unfairly hard on sometimes, has done a really nice job with the scoops. He's really been just awesome. He's saved a lot of potential errors and some more problems. So
yeah, when Higgy was trying to pick off the guy at first base, that was he tried to pick up Gurriel, right? That was another one of those saves. So yeah.
So Anthony Rizzo, really good job there. Don't want that to be forgotten. But yeah, the Yankee defense. There was some shaky things in terms of just poor communication where guys potentially bumping into each other. We haven't reached that point yet,
right.
But the Higgy Rizzo foul pop in the 8th inning. So there's some of that going on. But the Yankee defense, generally speaking, besides those bloopers, has been pretty strong. It's been one of the reasons why the Yankees have been better this year. And so that helps there. And speaking of Altuve, what is he? I think he's 0 for 22 or 23 all postseason.
Yeah.
And you just know there's going to be the fuck Altuve chance, and he's going to do something major at Yankee Stadium. You just know it. Once he gets that hit, it's going to be impactful. That's kind of the unfortunate thing. You've shut him down, and yet you're still down 0-2. And so, and you know what, man? As much as I don't want to hear the fuck Altuve chants, honestly. I'm kind of sick of it at this point. Do I dislike the guy? Absolutely. But it's so beyond that. But we're gonna hear it, and he's probably gonna make him pay. But it is what it is.
It's gonna happen. And yeah, at this point, it's the dude owns us. So it's why are we?
Yeah. And he's Exactly. And
Yeah.
he's going to save it for the stadium.
Right.
Like that's definite.
Right. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
then the Yankees continue their ways going into the ninth inning with just the ineptitude to score any runs.
So tracking back to the
Mhm.
eighth, this is where things get really, really interesting. Kind of like when you think about this game and how close it was. Brian Abreu comes in. It just speaks to the Astro depth in the pen, where yesterday they got Neris, Montero, who the Yankees got to, and then Presley, who we saw again today. There's also Ryan Stanek, who, like, they are just loaded with arms. Brian Abreu comes on, 1-out walk for Bader. I just can't say enough about Harrison Bader. Quickly becoming one of my favorite Yankees, honestly.
Yeah.
And then that leads to the Judge at bat. Oh boy! And when he hit it, I thought it had a chance. When Judge gets it, like when Judge hits it, a lot of the times it finds its way out, and Kyle Tucker makes wasn't that easy of a play, but he made it look easy. Kyle Tucker makes the catch, and it's kind of funny. This is where the home field comes in. The one stadium where that would have been out, Yankee Stadium. So the home field advantage is certainly a thing, but also what hurts. And what I don't like is that Yankee players, it almost came off like excuse making, where like they were almost dumbfounded how Bregman's ball went out and Judge didn't. And I understand the Astro, sort of narrative in years past as far as cheating and things of that sort. But Judge said the right thing. Judge was like, look, when I hit it, I didn't think it went out. He always does. He always says the right thing. But Aaron Judge comes this close to making it 4-3. And the fact that that roof was open, which never happens, might just have affected it. If it had been a closed roof, maybe that ball goes out. It is what it is. It's an even playing field. But it's just, it is so frustrating that ball did not go out.
Yeah, and it looked like it was incredibly windy, tonight down there in Houston. So of course it's like, they have to open up the roof, and it happens to be one of the more windier days there, and the ball just kind of dies up there. And I know there was a few balls hit by some of the Houston players that the same kind of issues were happening as well. I can't recall who hit it, but I remember Bader was in center field, and he had to come all the way over to like right field to grab it because of the wind carrying. Right. So yeah, the weather definitely played a part in this game. Things that definitely would have gone a lot differently on both sides, really. So yeah, just of course that adds to just the frustration of this with this offense and opportunities and everything like that. So
when stuff like that happens, it just feels like you're just not meant to win at Minute Maid. It just feels like you're not whatever is done, as bad as it is, and that's what it is. Like even just there's no luck element either. It just and who knows, right? I mean, maybe the Yankees. Look, there still would have been 6 outs to go. They could have very well blown it.
Right.
Like even if they take that lead, that could have just led to more heartbreak. So don't get me wrong. And then it's the Stanton at bat. And here's this too: amazing base running by Harrison Bader. That is savvy to go from first to second on that Judge fly. I mean, that you're not seeing many people do that. And so that could have came up. I mean, that could have been huge. So now it's runner on second, 2 out, and Stanton's up, 3-0 count. And I have to be honest, there were mixed feelings when this bad call occurred. It's a 3-0 count. It's a low pitch. They call it strike one. Clearly ball four. And in hindsight, I wish it had been. But to be fair, when it happened, I'm thinking, well, against Cleveland in game 2, that same thing happened. Stanton's at bat extends and he homers. So I wasn't sure, like, you know what? Like, I'm a little bit upset about this because I want to see Rizzo up on deck. But, let's see how this plays out. And, of course, it doesn't go our way, and it's a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. The next pitch to Stanton, and he swings and misses. If he connects with that, that is going over the train tracks and way out of the park if he somehow, connects with it.
Yeah.
And then, it sucks that that Stanton goes down looking. I don't like that, but it was really that the full count pitch was dotted right on the corner. Great pitch by Abreu, and Stanton goes down. So between the Judge at bat and the Stanton at bat, I mean, just really disheartening. Because that was really, they came close. Bottom of the 8th, Loaisiga finishes up a really nice job. Jonathan Loaisiga has been, really, really good. I speak about Wandy Peralta, but I gave Loaisiga a lot of praise for what he did in Game 5 against Cleveland. But John Loaisiga at this point is really probably the Yankees' most trusted reliever out of the bullpen at this moment. Where he faces righties. Where Wandy's role is a little more so lefty based, where Loaisiga, he's getting like more innings and more work. And so Loaiziga's, really been a key guy in that pen, finishes out his night. Wandy comes on, and Wandy did struggle.
Couple
Jordan
hits.
Alvarez, Jordan Alvarez singles, and then luckily Alvarez falls asleep. Wandy picks him off. Nice tag by Rizzo, and Alvarez is out. So that was good.
That was a beautiful, beautiful play.
Yeah, definitely. There was some good defense tonight.
Yeah.
And then Bregman singles, and then Kyle Tucker pops out to Higgy. That was the play where, it was almost a collision between Higashioka and Rizzo, but luckily the Yankees get the out, and so we head to the ninth, and it's Ryan Presley. And what's frustrating is the Yankees have gotten to Presley in the past. That the best moment of Aaron Hicks' season this year was that 3-run homer off for Ryan Presley at the stadium earlier this season, but no dice here. Rizzo leading off, it was as you'd expect, a tough Rizzo at bat. He battled, he grinded, but he did strike out. And that was, and Rizzo doesn't usually strike out, but he goes down there. Gleyber Torres strikes out. And Josh Donaldson, again, give him credit, as ugly as it is for him. Similar to last night when he walked in the 8th inning, he does draw a walk against Presley to keep the game alive. And so Tim Locastro pinch runs, which makes sense. And then here's where it's like, it's a bunch of kind of shitty options. Pinch hitting for Higgy is what you want to do, but who do you go to? You have Carpenter on the bench, you have Kiner-Falefa on the bench, and you also do have Trevino on the bench. Those are your three choices. And really, any which way it went probably wasn't going to work out. That's kind of the moral of the story here. But they were looking for a home run from Carpenter. But the interesting thing was, if Locastro stole, which he attempted to steal on the final pitch, like at that point, like you are looking more for that single, and Carpenter is not. He's really not your guy for that. But again, like it's not really worth going down that rabbit hole. But they do go with Carpenter, and he does strike out again. Like I said, Locastro was running on that last pitch, and when Carpenter first struck out, I thought he didn't go around. Upon replay, and the third base ump ringed him up. He did strike out. Carpenter now 0 for 7 with 7 strikeouts. I just, Jack Curry was talking about, I think he'll be in there. Like, I don't even think I'd go there, honestly, because then you're putting Stanton in left Yankee Stadium. I would probably just stay away from Carpenter at this point, which is unfortunate. It was a great story. It's not working out. It makes me think, like, look, I wish a hobbled DJ LeMahieu now almost makes more sense to have been on the roster. At least he'd be able to maybe like figure something out, draw a walk, get a single, something. So like, whereas Carpenter's just giving you nothing.
Yeah, I think the Carpenter experiment, has to be put to a close now. I was hoping that it might have been put to a close yesterday, but I guess like you said, given the circumstances with who was available for pinch hitting, I guess I could see what they were trying to do. But at the same time, like you said, if Locastro steals second, you feel like IKF or Trevino are way more capable of getting that little blooper hit to drive in Locastro. So, I just think, I think that was just kind of a Boone trying to, make Carpenter feel good about himself. And again, like this is game 2 of the American League Championship Series. Like, aren't we like past this point of like trying to make people feel good about themselves or like whatever? Like you said, I don't know. Also, the at bat was just very ugly. You know what I mean? He just does not. That's what I mean. It wasn't even like a good at bat. It wasn't like he was fouling off pitches like Rizzo was. This was as bad as it could get. He looks completely lost up there. So just to really recap everything, that's what makes the whole fact that the 2 runs that the Yankees scored tonight were unearned just makes it it's just more frustrating that the fact that literally Bregman's home run was the only runs that the Astros scored tonight, and we couldn't even put together like even one earned run to send this thing into extra innings. Just like the complete ineptitude to get runners in scoring position. I actually thought there was more instances of runners in scoring position, but there was only 4. But I guess that just goes to show you how many 1, 2, 3 innings there were with Valdez and everything. So just really just I just feel very disgusted really and disappointed at this Yankee offense because yes, again, it's just the same old shit all the time. Nothing seems to change. And I'm just, you get to the point where you just get fed up with it and I don't really see. Yeah. I mean, look, Houston is the better team. We know this by now. And, like you said, we're going to need some kind of 2017 run here for the Yankees, where we win the next three in a row and make it 3-2 going back to Houston. And even if by chance that happens, it's hard to even feel good about it. Look, we still have these games to play, and anything can happen, and things can shift, and maybe we will think differently. But I mean, as of right now, same old stuff. Yeah, very disheartening. But with all that being said, I'll try and stay positive that we have, Cole and Nestor coming up for games 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's something to look forward to. Like you said, like this offense just year in, year out, whether it's Astros, whether it's not, like that's always kind of my thing when I think about these postseasons, and it's been a lot of Houston, so that makes sense. But this offense just goes completely silent. And we've seen that over the course of the regular season as well. But like when I think of this team, like that's just what it is every single time. And why would it change? Like nothing's changed. I mean, it's going to be the same thing, Cashman, Boone, it's the same crew, it's the same stuff. Like, I see no reason why it would get better. I just don't. But like you said, on the positive note, Cole and Cortez for 3 and 4. For the Astros, it sounded like it'd be Lance McCullers. If I'm that, I guess either way, McCullers, gave us fits. Specifically, I think back to Game 7 in 2017, where it was a combination of McCullers and Charlie Morton, who completely, they were just throwing, just off speed, like exclusively. Yep. I think McCullers threw like 20 plus straight off speed, and they couldn't do anything there. So the next couple games, we're going to see some combination of McCullers, I think, although it's interesting they haven't announced that yet. Christian Javier was the pitcher who threw a no-hitter versus the Yankees this year, where he threw 7, and then I forget who the next 2 guys that came in were, but he was like the focal point of it. So I'd expect Christian Javier in some capacity. Maybe we see Luis Garcia. Point is, it's going to be difficult for the Yankees to score runs. The crowd will be into it. I know, even though that they're down in the series, the crowd will be very alive, especially against the Astros. And that can carry them through to maybe get a win or two. It really could. You might get some more home runs. The Yankees they are a better team in Yankee Stadium for whatever the reason they are. So some wins, I know, look, could they get swept? Sure, they could. I wouldn't be completely stunned by that. But I think if I'm being rational here, I think things will be better for the Yanks back home, which was we'll see. That's kind of what my whole point was based around. So that could be totally foiled. If the Yankees lose there, then it's like I got no leg to stand on as far as that whole home field thing. So I think that it'll be interesting. Garrett Cole versus his former team for the first time in the postseason. The last time that we saw Cole, Yankee Astro-wise, was 2019 Game 3, which was Cole versus Severino. Now he's back in Game 3, this time in pinstripes. And look, it's another big moment for Cole. As good as he was in the Cleveland series, and he was, this is another moment where we really need him to perform. Backs against the wall. This is a must-win game. You're down to you lose, it's really done. So you got to win this game. Look, and then if you somehow win it, all right, then you got Nestor, and then it can be a bit of a domino effect. So yeah, series isn't over, but it's not as if we ever necessarily thought that this would go well to begin with. So, but it's still, like you said, it's still deflating, man. It's still
just the performances. If we lost these 2 games, but it was we put up some kind of fight, you'd feel better about things. And I do agree with you that I feel being in Yankee Stadium, kind of hit the reset button, if so to speak, by being back home and everything. I could see us winning winning at least 2 out of 3 back home or something like that. So I have faith. Just real quick for Game 3, do you see kind of any major lineup changes or anything like that, or you feel Boone is going to kind of keep with what we got from today?
I think it's going to be mostly the same. In terms of Bader leading off, that's got to be a definite. Again, the Rizzo Stanton thing, 3-4, that could be that might be a change actually, because I guess maybe they felt versus the lefty Stanton, that is a definite change I could see, but that's not a big one. And then beyond that, I think I hope Peraza is back at short, and I think he will be. That would be disappointing if somehow they went back to kind of Falefa, which you can never rule out that they would. But I think you do see Peraza back there. Like I said, Trevino. I guess the main question is, I guess, left field DH. But I think, and Jack Curry kind of thought that Carpenter would be back in there. I don't think that they really want Stanton in left field at Yankee Stadium, nor do I really think you want Carpenter in there in the first place. So I think Stanton DH and left field by default would be Oswaldo Cabrera. Yeah. So yes, I do think that you will see essentially a similar lineup, but with the Yanks, you never know. There could be, something that kind of comes our way that we're not expecting. Like the one guy, I guess, I'm sure they'd want to find a way to get kind of Falefa in, but I just don't really see that happening or hope it. It's nothing against him, but I just think Peraza, with the defense and with the potential pop in the bat, I think that's the right thing to do. So that's what kind of sucks too. Reinforcements aren't coming. What you saw today is kind of what you might see next game. Yeah. But I don't think it will not be the same exact lineup, but something similar is probably what you're going to see.
Yeah. I figured as much, but just wanted your thoughts. But we'll see what happens. So actually, I think I might have said tomorrow. I meant on Saturday. They have a day off in between the Yankees and Astros. The one day off that they'll have actually for this whole series,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I mean, unfair.
Them fitting the stuff in.
Yeah, unfair to the players. Craziness.
No off day in between 5 and 6 is nuts.
Ludicrous. Yeah, and I mean that's going to be, that's probably going to be the game clinching. Obviously, game 6 might be it. So
yes, and one last thing. Yeah. In terms of that, is like weather could be a factor again, which could lead to some off days. Saturday weather looks good, but in terms of Sunday and Monday, there is rain in the forecast. We don't specialize in weather here, but figured it was worth looking at, especially based on last series.
Yeah, well, maybe this rain delay will benefit us for sure.
Maybe, I would think that it probably would, based on the way that I'm seeing this. So, so keep that in mind that there could still be a rain out, which could lead to some off days. But again, things can change quickly.
Yeah. So game 3 on Saturday, we will be covering it as always. Everybody, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to New York's #2 sports show. We not only do Yankee content, but we cover the New York Giants and the New York Rangers as well. Tough overtime loss that Derek will be discussing in a much later.
Not a
great night. But that episode will be up shortly. And just appreciate everyone from listening. Let's try and believe in this team. We are going back to the stadium, so maybe that gives us just a little bit of push. And yes, one game at a time. Let's just get one game at a time, one win at a time. Let's believe. But until next time, talk to you soon.